Why the heck would I sign up for a 401k when I can't even run a 5K? Because today we're going to be discussing all sorts of investment accounts, including 401ks, 403bs, 457bs, IRAs, and just regular taxable brokerage accounts. Please remember, I am not a financial professional or financial advisor, so none of this is to be taken as advice. This is for general information purposes only. The first class of investment accounts that we're going to be talking about are the employer-sponsored plans. These are your 401ks, 403bs, and 457bs. 401ks are generally offered for employees of private for-profit companies. 403bs are usually offered for employees of public schools and other nonprofit organizations. And 457bs are for state and local government employees. So why would you want to contribute to these accounts anyway? The biggest reason is because they are tax advantaged. There are two types of accounts, traditional or Roth. A traditional 401k means that you are funding it with pre-tax dollars. You only pay taxes when you withdraw from the traditional 401k. On the other hand, a Roth 401k means you're funding it with post-tax dollars, money that has already been taxed, and you will never pay taxes on it ever again, even if the value has increased after investing it. When people find out that there are two types of accounts, their next question is,
well, which one is better?
And the answer to that is, it depends. If you think you're going to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement, then maybe a Roth 401k might make more sense for you because you'll pay taxes now and never pay taxes again in the future. Or if you think you're going to be in a lower tax bracket in the future, or you need more money now, then a traditional 401k might make more sense. You can always do a hybrid option, which is having both Roth and traditional 401ks, but remember, not all companies offer Roth 401ks, so you may be stuck with only one option. Another reason to contribute to an employer-sponsored plan is because if you have a 401k or 403b, employers can actually match your contributions. So for example, at my company, for every dollar that I put into my 401k, they will put in 50 cents. Some people like to think of this as free money, but in actuality, this is money that has already been promised to you when you signed your offer letter. So when you don't contribute to an employer-sponsored account when they have matching, you are leaving money that has already been promised to you on the table. Be sure to check with your HR department about how matching works, because some companies require you to contribute throughout the year to get the full match, and others don't care if you front load or not. So let's talk about the rules, because there are always rules. All three of these accounts have pretty similar rules, but I'm going to be focusing on the 401k because that is the most common type, and that's the one that I personally have. The annual employee contribution limit is $19.5K for 2021, and if you're 50 years and older, you can have a catch-up contribution of $6,500. Notice how I say employee contributions, because remember, with a 401k or a 403b, employers can also make contributions to your account for a grand total of $58K in annual contributions. If you choose to take a hybrid approach with both a traditional and Roth 401k, the 19.5K limit applies to both of them in total. And remember that employer contributions do not count towards the 19.5K limit. A common mistake I see is that people put in 10K, their employer puts in 9.5K, and they think they've already maxed their 401k. But that is not true. You yourself can put in 19.5K and the employer can put in 9.5K. And to bridge the gap between that number and 58,000, there is something called an after-tax 401k, which we can talk about in a later video. You can start withdrawing from the plan at 59 and a half years old. If you choose to do it beforehand, then you'll be subject to a 10% penalty plus income tax. With a traditional 401k, that income tax will be on the total amount withdrawn, and if it's a Roth 401k, it will be income tax on the earnings. There are cases where you can take a loan against your 401k, but that is a subject for another video. And please remember to check with your HR department and the IRS website for all of the specifics for your situation.
Your place doesn't offer a 401k. Does that mean that I can't invest for retirement?
Introducing the IRA, which stands for Individual Retirement Account. This is an account that you open up yourself, and it is not tied to your employer in any way. You can open one up at Vanguard or Fidelity or Charles Schwab. In the next video, we'll talk about how to choose between these firms. But for now, let's talk about the rules of an IRA. There are two types, traditional and Roth IRAs. Unlike the employer-sponsored plan, you're not directly contributing from your paycheck, but rather you're waiting for the paycheck to hit your bank account first, and then you can contribute it to your IRA. So remember how we learned that traditional means that it's pre-tax? So how can you contribute to a traditional IRA if you have to wait for the money to hit your bank account first? Well, according to your situation, you may be able to get a tax deduction and get that tax savings retroactively. Limits for a traditional and Roth IRA is $6,000 for 2021, and if you're 50 years and older, you have an additional $1,000 in catch-up contributions. You can have both a traditional and Roth IRAs, but together they cannot exceed $6,000 in contributions. Roth IRAs are amazing and awesome because you'll never have to pay taxes on that money ever again, but there is a catch. As you can see here on the IRS website, there is an income limit for contributing to your Roth IRA. Depending on your filing status, you may not be able to contribute the full $6,000, if at all. There is a way around this, and it is called the Backdoor Roth IRA. You contribute to a traditional IRA first, which has no income limit, don't invest the money yet, convert it to a Roth IRA, and then use it as you normally would.
Wait, is that legal? That sounds illegal.
This is perfectly legal and is just another added step. The last type of investment account that we're going to be talking about is the regular old taxable brokerage account. It doesn't offer any tax advantages. You'll be contributing to it with post-tax money, and when you withdraw, that money will be subject to capital gains and income tax. But because there are no tax benefits, it is very flexible. There is no income limit, no contribution limit, and there's no age limit for withdrawing. Which one should you have?
All of them.
They each have their own part to play in your overall wealth strategy. If you have a retirement plan through your workplace, then it's in your best interest to enroll in it, even if you don't think you can contribute or reach the max, because it's better to have than to not to have. It's also important to have an IRA because you can choose your own institution and usually you have more investment options. Having a regular taxable brokerage account is important because it provides that flexibility and you can withdraw that money at any time without having to be retirement age. In what order should you be investing? I try to max out my tax advantaged accounts first. That means contributing to get the full employer match, then maxing out my IRA, then going back to hit that 19.5K limit on my employer plan, and then contributing to a taxable brokerage account. You can start investing in all three of them at the same time. Here's an example. Let's say I have a goal to max out my 401k and my IRA. That comes out to contributing $1,625 per month to my 401k and $500 per month to my IRA. I have a budget of $5,000 for investing every month. That means that after contributing to both my 401k and IRA, I still have $2,875 to contribute to my brokerage account. If you're wondering how I came up with the $5,000 number, watch part 1 of my How to Invest series. Budgeting is an important step in optimizing your investments. The video was helpful and answered some of your questions about different investment accounts. The next video, we're going to be talking about how to actually open one and invest that money. If you don't invest that money in these accounts, it's just a glorified savings account. Also remember, this was not meant to be a comprehensive deep dive of every single investment account out there. This was just a little primer. So if you have any other questions, you can also look up on the IRS website or talk to your company's HR department. All right, happy investing. I'm so tired of filming this video. This is the second time.